I'm Catherine, the creator of Shia and the Jetsons Community Preservation of the Promised Land. Okay, so I'm going to go over the Promised Land and where it's at. Now, where the Promised Land at? People were asking me, where is the Promised Land? The Promised Land is at every single NBC Universal studio network, studio station networks. I know that sounds crazy, but let me give you the information to show you how that's true. So every single NBC Universal Studio Network station is where the Promised Land is at. Okay, now how? Because right here is where my like I told you before. Look at all of the other videos when I talk about my great grandparents, dowries of them being removed from their homelands in 1830. It's called 1830 of Dancing Rabbit Creek, in which every single black person, Negro, gingerbread colored person you want to call yourself, here in America, your great great grandparents was removed from your home. So look at all my videos and I'll explain to you all about that. But here is my great grandparents' information from the Daurus. You can get your Daurus of your great grandparents was in court telling the commissioners that I'm claiming my status because you removed us from our lands and were kidnapped. My great grandparents was kidnapped. So my grandfather's grandmother was kidnapped. She went to court in the NBC Universal Studios in Chicago and in Georgia, in Florida, in California, everywhere where we were pushed up from. And you guys were in court. Our great grandparents was in court, stating that they want their land back, and they're claiming the 640 acres. That's right here on page 6. So I know it's really incredible. But this whole time, the television station network right here, if you can just see this, I'm going to put this on my website so you can see it. But this is free information. I mean, everybody can see it. Where you can see a commissioner explain to my great-grandmother that, yes, we removed you from your homeland, and now we put our commissioner office here, our building here, on top of within your resources, using your resources, yes. And because we removed you, you are entitled to your 640 acres. That's to each Negro adult. Right here. It says it right here. From the United States. If you can pause this, let me get a closer look. If you can just pause it, and you can see how it explains to my great grandmother, because she didn't know what a treaty is. She said, because she don't know what slavery is, because she never been a slave. Black people has never been there's no such thing as slavery. Slavery was invented by the European white people only. On the people that I'm talking about is Paul Revere. Paul Revere bloodline is every single white race that you see that owns the NBC television station network, ABC, Fox, all of the white people on View, all of the owners of The View, all of the owners of all television station network is Paul Revere's bloodline. Congress, the senator, your mayors, your governor, ours is the bloodline of Paul Revere that they vilify. And it's good that it's wonderful that history, they put history out there, like it's just wonderful news for them, and when it's just really actual evidence, criminal evidence. So Paul Revere came here in shackles and chains as a criminal. The bloodline of Paul Revere came here in shackles and chains. They were all the lookout for the British. They were all looking out for the British. The black Moors and the British Moors was coming to execute all the white people here because the Queen Lizard bitch, whatever, this is their life. This is not our life. I'm just telling you their story that came upon us. The house dropped upon the wicked witch of the west and the Moors of the east was dropped on the Moors first. Then the Moors had to bring their worst white house, whatever, who dropped the house on them, over on us in America in the west. Okay? So when they talk about the wicked witch of the west, they're talking about the west. And who would represent giving back, Dorothy, those shoes are not for you. You know, those are not your shoes. Those blood shoes that you're stepping on, which is my land, they're not, there's no use. They're no use to you, Dorothy. Give them back to me. So basically, what we're saying is that we're sending out these posters to let the NBC television station network know that we reflected on the history that you demanded Whoopi Goldberg come back and reflect on. And we reflected, and what we found is that your television station network is on the blood and soil and resources of our great great grandparents. See, so every time you open your mouth about any show that you're doing, any movie that you're doing, any commercial that it's just blasphemy, because it's not conducive to us. It's not benefiting us in any way. The indigenous people are being stepped on constantly by your blasphemous words. And so something has to be done about it, because it's just continued disrespect on land that's not even yours. I mean, really. It's just disgusting just to, you know what I mean? Just to keep seeing the news television station network bring out these movies that, and not one movie is about our life, our true story. It's all about slavery from across the seas in Africa somewhere. That has nothing to do with us, and it never even happened. Because why don't you find, how come we can't go to this slave ship, all these slave ships? Where's the slave ships at? Not one? You can't find not one slave ship, but you got these movies out here? Mass lies, mass propaganda is being told. So the Darus is what happened to our great grandparents in the 1930s that removed us from our lands, and then they put their NBC Universal Studios in Chicago. That's in Chicago. That it was founded in 1910. Now, our great grandparents was in court in 1902. So 1902, we were screaming for our lands because we were kidnapped. My great grandparents was kidnapped. Then when she comes to apply for her status, they ask her, well, where's your grandfather? Where's your mother at? She's saying you murdered them. What do you mean? Oh, well, and then they ask her, well, are they still alive? So they can find my great grandparents to murder them and take their land. So she has to deliberately lie and say, no, she don't know where they're at, but can you please give back my resources? And they deny her because she don't know, or she won't tell where her great grandfather is at. And she says vehemently right here that her great grandfather owns damn near half of Florida, because that's Choctaw. Choctaw is Florida all the way to Texas, all the way to Mississippi. That's Choctaw. Choctaw Nation is that she claims herself as. Now that's on my father's side. On my mother's side is where all of my mother's side is from Chicago, and then is connected somehow to Ireland. Okay? Because when you look here, we are from not only Ireland, but from the Ukraine as well. So when you look at the black people, the African people being pushed, not being where they can't get on the train, it's not for them to get on the train, on the Poland train, because wherever they're at, they're indigenous. Because the earth itself, the earth itself is a black planet, because the universe is all black. It's predominantly black. Jupiter and another planet is the only planet that have other races like Mexican, Chinese, who created the white race. The white race is not even indigenous to Jupiter, but the Mexican and Chinese people are. They brought them and they destroyed their part of Mars and their part in Jupiter, and went to Mars and destroyed Mars. Then when they destroyed Mars, they came over here. So now they're over here, and straight invaders of this world. So when we talk about black people, indigenous, we're indigenous to this whole world. We're indigenous to Ukraine, and here is the proof right here. From Benjamin Franklin, from the United States Congress archives, that black people are indigenous everywhere, Ireland. But what my main focus is that we're indigenous to America. not just Africa. They want to make you believe that this is the abomination. Is that the NBC television station network make only television station shows about Africa, African people going back and forth to Africa when it was never about that. It was about Paul Revere's bloodline coming over here in shackles and chains as criminals from England, from England, actually coming from Bulgaria and the Caucasus Mountains in Helsinki, Russia. It's where they're all indigenous to. They're not never indigenous to America, of course not. If they're not even indigenous to Africa, how are they going to be indigenous to America? That's impossible. They don't come from this world, and you can see it here in a article that Wikipedia put out a long time ago about the UFO Nuremberg battle that happened, UFO that happened in Nuremberg, Germany, where they were dropping off animal-like white people, people that were all furry hair, monster white people that can stand up, but they couldn't talk because they didn't have a name and they were monsters. But, well, to us, of course, they appear to look like monsters because they're walking on all fours and they have claws and they have long furry hair and they can stand up, but they're grunting. Those were white people, in which someone took the DNA of a black person and somehow made them stand upright to where they can talk now. That's why white people can talk, because they took the DNA of a black person, just a bit, just a pinch of it, and made them talk, because they don't have a language and they don't have any history. They only stole it from us, the original people. So when we talk about NBC television station network, we're talking about them literally removing black people from their homelands and then placing the Congress buildings for them to apply for their status, the victims, to apply for their status, so that the people, the victims, can tell where their parents is at, so that the Congress people can go out and kill the people to take more of their land. So this is what's been going on for 200 years right here in the Daru. Well, actually, no, because she went to court in 1902. So February 10th, 1902 is the Daru dates here. In Alabama, Georgia. Okay, now that means that he explained that this happened in every single state. So now let's focus on my mother's side. On my mother's side, where she was in, her great-great-grandparents was in court in Chicago around the same time, where NBC Universal Studios was formed at. That's where the first television station network was formed at. That's what we're going to focus on, because that's where the promised land is at. It's in Chicago. The owner is Larry Werth. He's the president of NBC Universal LLC. So he made the LLC in 1910 from a German, and we're talking about the Chicago location at 454 North Columbus Drive. Now remember the word Columbus. The reason why they put Columbus is because they are the invaders that came and invaded our communities. And they have, the Universal Studios have 6 companies attached to it in each state. So they have 6 television station networks, like I told you. I told you that the Promised Land has 7 to 13 Promised Land different areas that I didn't know what the location was until now. Until last week. And it is the NBC television station network and the news station network. No, wait, no, it was actually when we started to pass out the poster magazines to all the television station network. That's when I started to look into, I think that's where the Promised Land is at, because this is where we moved from. Type it in. Type in NBC Universal Network and see where it was founded at. It was founded from, they say, a German man. A German man founded NBC television station network in 1910. right where we were removed from. That means that they killed, murdered our great grandparents, and then put their television station network there to turn the narrative, to turn it to what they want it to be, to what their world wanted to be. And we live in hell because of what they did, because the television station network of them changing everything and turning our promised land into hell. Because we did have promised land. Our promised land was before they came. So before they came, we were in our promised land. Where? In the NBC. And it's not just NBC. Because NBC owns all the television station network. Just look at it. Just if you look, go to NBCUniversal.com. You will see their website, and you will see how many television station networks they own. Man, do you know they own Chase Bank? So basically, they're using our resources against us, and that's a crime. And that's why you have to pass out. And thank you so much for everyone that let me tell you, that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to get that out. But I want to say that thank you so much for everyone who has sent out the poster announcement of the rules and regulations of the Promised Land, because that's what I'm just here to do. It's just to announce the rules and regulations of the Promised Land. And it has to be in the television station network. I mean, like in every single television station network, because there's actually a total of 8 television station networks per state. And I told you that there are at least 7 to 13 promised land in each location. Now, when we talk about the promised land is in the television station networks, it really is literally like that's the headquarters. It's the headquarters of the promised land, because that's where they removed you from. So we start from there. Because those are our resources. How dare they? Those are our resources. You don't talk bad about nobody black or no Negro race that is indigenous to America. You don't continue to talk bad about us using our resources. Think about that. This is some blasphemous shit we living in. We're living in a blasphemous world. And every single television station network is not for us, it's against us, because I don't see no television station network that's talking about what I'm saying. And since it's not, then I have to have my network show inside each and every television station network, ABC, Fox News, because when NBC Universal Studios was made, it made branches. It branched off into all television station network. You understand? So it starts from NBC Universal. So when they was worried about Bill Cosby owning their show, oh, they don't have to worry about that. No, they got to worry about the universe owning their show, because what I see, the universe sees. And then they try to steal it and say, NBC Universal. No, we are universe, not you. You stole it. Because, see, the European Caucasian race was made from an off-brand shoot. They were made last from another race other than our indigenous race. So other than our original race, we did not create these races. So someone created the white race. That means it has nothing to do with us. So if our bloodline has nothing to do with you, then why are you speaking ill about us? Why are you speaking ill about us and using our resources at the same time? That's blasphemy. Right? Yeah. So think if you can continue to do that if you want to. You can think and believe that you can continue to do that, but you can't. No, because divine intervention has a time limit in which you can just reign supreme on some shit that's not yours. If the land isn't yours, then you can't continue to speak ill will about the people that owns the resources. See, we own the land that you're using. We own the resources that you're using. So you can't continue to talk bad about us, when we ask you for this. And it's funny. When we talk about reparations, did you know that they're the ones that can control and announce who gets reparations and not it is not the president that puts them in office. It's not you that put the president in office. It's not you that appoints anybody in office. It's the television station network that appoints everybody in office, because when you look at it, they always talk about what they want. Why do you always talk about what you want? Like, they'll go and say, oh, well, Putin and Russia is the bad people, and the way to get them out of office, or the way to bomb them, you just got to do it this way. It's like, damn, why are you telling how to kill and how to do all this to other countries, and just publicly announcing what your strategy is about Putin and all? Who cares? Why are you talking about it? Why are you saying it on national TV? Shouldn't y'all be saying that behind closed doors? They had you guys, I want to thank you guys for sending out these posters. All of my subscribers, thank you. You guys really helped, because when you sent out those posters, CBS emailed me like a video for me to see one of their, I don't know, I guess Biden talking about I guess the announcements. But I never watched the news, so I never watched it, because it's just the same announcements that who gives a fuck about. It's just they wanted to let me know that they received the posters without telling me. Okay, because they're cowards and they're vampires at the same time. So, and they're already caught. So imagine a vampire caught at what it's doing. You know, how do you respond to somebody that, how do you respond to a vampire killer, that comes to kill them? Obviously, I'm not coming to like, hey, hi, no, get the fuck out of my seat is what I come to tell you. Get the hell out of my seat. And what seat that is? The seat that you're sitting in the NBC, NBC in Chicago, and the one that's in California, right where I'm at. Yeah. So that's what the poster magazines is being sent over to the NBC Universal Studios for, because you're using our resources, and not one program is about us. That's an abomination. You can't do that. And then on top of that, these damn, oh my God, they have nerve enough to tell Coon Whoopi to reflect on her history. Of course, they put her back on the show real quiet. They didn't even mention her. They didn't even mention anything, did they? They didn't mention her coming back and reflecting. They didn't say, so Whoopi, did you come back and reflect on your history? They didn't come back with none of that. They just seeped her on in off secretly and shit. Yeah, I didn't even know she was on the show. She back on the show now with her, like everything is normal. No, they told you to go back and reflect. And now they got you back on there all just, yeah. At first they was going to murder your ass. They was going to sacrifice your ass. That's what they were going to do. But I saved you. You should say thank you. Because if it wasn't for me, I didn't even know I saved your black ass. If it wasn't for me saying to send out those posters about about how Whoopi said that, how all the television station network told Whoopi that she got to go back and reflect on her history. So I sent out to them, oh, really? Okay, because if she reflected, you got to hand over that deed to her. The fuck you mean? You got to hand over that damn deed if she reflected. So when we sent those off, now all of a sudden they're like, oh God, oh, you done woke up, yeah, bitch. Yeah, put her back in her place with her coon ass. Because forget her, it's not her that's important. It's what you said to her that was important. And you said it to everybody. You said it on national TV that she have to go back and reflect on her history, on our history, anybody's history. Okay. Now, if we reflected, you got to hand over that deed and the keys. That's why in the poster magazines that I'm telling everybody to send to you, I'm telling you to hand over the deed and the keys. And what I mean by that is that, why are you hogging the whole channel? Can you please scooch over? Can I get some room? So I can just simply announce the rules and regulation of the promised land. That's it. That's all. I just need to publicly announce it. And the rules is that every single black person, Negro person, whatever you want to call yourself, receives their free 2019-2022 RV Jetson motorhome coach to travel in 13 different areas in your promised land, in your area, in your state, in each state. So that means 7 to 13 promised land community theme parks will be developed in in each state, where each person who will receive, it's free, will be able to travel from Florida to Washington. I'm talking about Washington by Oregon, or Florida to anywhere, Texas, California, Maine, New York, wherever, and you'll be able to learn your identity and legacy that was stolen from us, but it's not stolen. It's still here. We still have it because it's here. They preserved our stuff. Thank goodness for that. They preserved our things the way that it's supposed to be, where it's at. So the national park services is ours, that we will be able to build going back and forth, where our national park centers is connected to the Shia facilities. The Shia facility is a sports dome arena. So there will be 7 sports dome arenas, that where the family that owns the Shia facility will live at the top VIP section. If anyone ever been in a professional sports dome arena, look at the remember the top VIP section. Those are apartments. Those are condominium homes. So so anyway, they are made into condominium homes, individuals, where there's 1 to 7 bedrooms, right? Beautiful. And they go all the way around, just like, right? They're on top, and there's like 1, 2, 3 stories, right? And then below that is where you have your recreational center. That'll be on the 4th floor. Your schools, yeah, there will be schools, classrooms, and stuff, of course, because you're going to go to school there too, recreational to learn.